There's a lot to do in the Dragon Lair, actually, and it's not the same thing as your Dragon Stable. This is your stable, which is kind of on your person. Right now, as you can see, I have no dragons on me, which isn't very beneficial to me, because I can... they're your mount and a fighting pet. So let's go back. Take a detour. This will be my look at the Dragon Lair and different things you can do within Dragon Lair. You can do things like rename your dragon, tame them, raise them, send them out to collect goods, and some other things, and other details surrounding those.
Dragons are my life.
Dragons are my life. Okay, so we've got the Dragon Lair. You can hit P to open it up. You can unlock and lock all windows, by the way. So a lot of them come locked. And actually, it's when you're looking at the move around symbol is when they're actually locked. That kind of fooled me. So, I have two dragons in the dragon stable, I suppose it's called. Well, this is the Dragon Lair, and then the stable is this area right here. You get 2 free slots to put 2 captured dragons you may have captured in here, and you can unlock these by paying some station cash. Here in the middle between these 2 pages is a horizontal menu of tabs. At the top we have Dragon Info, and that's what we're looking at here on the right. So it's basically giving you all the stats under various categories for your dragon. And then there's tabs up above here for the different skills. You can look at all the dragon skills, and they'll all show up here, or you can separate them into the Dragon Soul skill, which is the one your player can actually use. And then the elite skills, which are, I don't know how varied they get, but right now they all seem to be passive on my dragons. And a lot of these ones on this, this was like a Satuma scale skin dragon. I renamed it to Jungo. And all these have to do with gathering, pretty much. And so this is where it's going to be like Pokemon, gotta collect them all. They're all going to have different abilities and have different strengths and weaknesses, that kind of thing. I don't know how many dragons are in the game, possibly hundreds or around thereabouts, I don't know. And there are dragons separated into kind of quality types, like legendary and regular and so on. Here's different tier levels of my passive skills this dragon has. This is a beginning dragon too, by the way. Like I have this level 1 apprentice wood knowledge mastery, and what it does is basically it increases the efficiency of the logging camp by 10%. Here's here's this one's a nice one here. This is like a level 2 ore knowledge mastery, and it's giving me 25% for ore knowledge. And here's one for herb, here's one for leather, this is the 15%, and here's one for training. Here's my other dragon, by the way, and you can see how they do vary quite a bit. This dragon has level 1 for textile, this one has hunting mastery, and here we have another training. This one is only giving 10% though, whereas this one has 15%. So here's something you notice right away. This is both a training skill. So I'll show how I think you can stack these, and I'll show that. We'll take a look at that in a little bit. Rexy is in the chat room. Hey Rexy, what's up? Sorry I don't have Hex Chat on. My Hex Chat stopped working, and I can't figure out how to get it to start working. Yeah, it is a long time no see. I have lurked or creeped on your channel occasionally, but briefly over the last couple of nights. Like you've been playing Sims, I saw. This game is interesting. I'm trying to cover some of the systems right now, like real quick or briefly, my feelings on this is it feels like a terribly generic game. Not a bad game, it just feels run-of-the-mill generic. Like, it's going to offer some fun, maybe nothing you'd want to stick with long term. But the other thing about this is there's actually a lot of subsystems in Dragon's Prophet that they just don't tell you about. There's currently either no in-game tutorials or they're very hard to find. There's nothing to tell you that yes, this game indeed has a lot of unique systems in it, but they never point you to them. Like this, talking about the Dragon Lair system, and I want to go over some of the crafting too in a bit. But like this Dragon Lair system is pretty big. It's a pretty robust system. Another window down here is the Dragon Process, and let me show you this. This is where you actually set your dragons. Once you've captured your dragon and then put them in the stable, this is where you can send your dragon to do things, and you can do this even while offline. You don't have to be playing, and there's a lot of flexibility, I think. So if we hit plus, we can add a schedule. This is just scheduling, telling your dragon to do something. And your dragon can do more than one thing at a time. I'll get into that, but it will cost you station cash. So here's a list on the schedule window of what this dragon can do, my juvenile thresher. Here's what he can do, and you can mouse over it. And it might be hard to see, but it says special schedule 25%. I can click on that, and down here it will tell you exactly what you get. Then this is the schedule details. I'll go into more of that in a minute. But right now, we're looking at the time. You can set them to do activities for a minimum of 1 hour. But you can set a lot longer. You can do 1 hour, and it costs you some in-game money. 5 hours, and it costs you a lot of, about 1,250 in-game money. But then after that, you can set them for 6, 12, 18, even 24 hours to collect and do stuff. But these will cost you station cash. If you want to, so if you know you're going to be gone for a whole day and a half, then you can, and you have the money and you want to, you can say, oh, go ahead and gather me ore for the next 24 hours. Now, here's what will happen. I'm on special schedule. It's set for 1 hour right now, and it's telling me I've got the 25% bonus. After 1 hour, I will get plus 75 taming experience points. If I set it for 5, it readjusts. I'll get 375. If I set it for 18, I'll get 1,000. So you can see, you can watch it readjust for you, so you know what you're going to get. This is a free-to-play. Runewaker, the makers of Runes of Magic, made this game. And believe it or not, which is kind of surprising for an Eastern import, Sony Online Entertainment is publishing it, and it's free to download and free to play. It's got all the it seems to have all the trappings and all the recognizable features of a typical free-to-play game. And that's what I was saying earlier. It feels very generic. And a lot of these systems nobody knows about. Like, you have to really dig for them. And I've talked to people who are now level 25, 30, and they're like, oh, all I'm doing is questing and going from one generic quest hub to another, questing, and that's it. I'm like, well, yeah, that's all I did, but I found out, luckily, early on, that you can actually access a bunch of these subsystems way before you reach that level. I'm only level 16, and actually about the 9 or 10 I was able to access this Dragon Lair feature, which is pretty robust. And then you can immediately start collecting food, and a lot of this is collecting food. Here I have a hunting collection ability, and here's what I'll get. I'll get 5 taming experience, unknown meat chunk. You kind of get some of these junk things that you can kind of sell, and then I'll get minced meat, which is a crafting material especially used for the cooking profession. So you can your dragons are actually getting you material for your crafting professions, and they can do it while offline. Now, dragon provisions are something you spend to level up your dragon, which I'll show you in a minute. But just as an example, let's set this. Let's say I want more tame. No, let's say something else. Let's say I want some leather stuff for my, because I want to level up my tailoring or leatherworking. So I'll get 22 coarse rag for an hour. I just want to set for an hour. It's going to cost me 50 copper, in-game money, whatever. So I'm all set. 1 hour. Schedule details. Oh, I can, up here, I almost forgot. This is important too, on schedule details. This schedule detail menu will change depending on what you're collecting. So if I go to wood, the schedule detail says water willow log, it shows here, but I have a higher level unlocked, and these are level capped. I don't know if you can see this, the little icon that appears on the right, but at level 1 I can start collecting water willow log. At level 10 I can start collecting skin salt log, and there it changes. Now these the redded out ones, the red ones, the next one is called Shellyak, and I can't start collecting it until level 20. But let's go back to tailoring, and level 1 is coarse. But let's say I want, well, yeah, my leather working is pretty low level, so I'm going to stick with coarse rag. I'm getting a plus 10% bonus thanks to this particular dragon's passive skills. That plays into the Pokemon style. Got to collect them all and decide which ones you want for what tasks and so on. And then I can just hit add, and then it appears up here in this progress bar. I don't know if you can see that, but current progress is 1 hour and it's counting down. And I can just let it go. Now this next tab down here in my list of horizontal tabs is Dragon Training. There are 2 servers. One is called Kronos and one's called Lycia. I'm on Lycia with my guild, which there's only one other person from. It's that cross game guild I told you that I'm in, Combat Wombat. She named us Wombaticus, actually, if you can see below my name. So we're called Wombaticus in here. And there's only me and one other person. Like, everybody else from the Wombats isn't really playing yet, or they're very dubious about the game still. And that's the thing, a lot of people are dubious about this game because it feels very generic. It feels run-of-the-mill generic, but that's what I want to try to do here, is offer a little uniqueness with this live stream. Like, this is the Dragon Training window. Now, when we looked at the Dragon process, one of the things we were getting was called Dragon Provisions. Now, when you're in Dragon Training, your provisions will appear up here as a number on top. Right now I have 368. And it keeps building up and building up and building up. Now, I'm slightly confused over what they're considering the terminology in this game between taming and leveling. I don't know if they mean taming level, and if leveling and taming is the exact same thing, or if those are actually 2 different things in the game. But up here, now once you send out your dragon, he comes back with a bunch of dragon provisions. You go to the Dragon Training tab, and then you see how you can check up here to your progress bar. You can see mine says 2, and then over here it says taming level experience 32 of 126. So I can either raise that simply by going back to the dragon process and selecting the actual taming tab instead of collecting tab, function. It's just mixed in. Or I can get these dragon provisions, go back to Dragon Training, and there's a button here. I can instantly spend those points to level my dragon. So right now I have 32 of 126. Let's go ahead and click this once. And I spent everything necessary to get me to level 3. You can see it deducted the points. It also, I believe, it costs you some copper or silver or in-game money as well. It looks like I spent 50. So now I'm level 3. Now again, I'm not 100%. Oh, and also when I reach level 3, it's the same as gaining you also gain an ability point for leveling up. So down here it says I have 3 available ability points. And I can use this to spend on all of these different stats to raise my dragon's statistics. So Constitution, Intelligence, Dragon Affinity, which I believe Dragon Affinity is just how well he syncs up with you, like the synergy between you and your dragon. Here's Ferocity and Focus. So I could go ahead and spend these. And down here is your information on maximum levels. So here's the highest taming level. It says, and this is where I'm confused because it says 0 out of 25. So I'm guessing that maybe up here at the top I'm not actually leveling my taming. I'm just getting, but it says taming level experience, so I'm a little confused over that. But down here, what I want to focus on is the highest taming level. Now you can raise the max level for your dragons. If you click this icon button right here next to highest dragon training level, it says potential provisions increases the limit of training of dragons. Now I think it's not just for the max level, but also for like max strength and all the other stuff. Now, what is a potential provision? If you go back up to the top and look at these are potential provisions and these are dragon provisions. Now, if you look on to the right here, this says potential provisions and it says I have 0. Now what you can do also to get more information is scroll over this button next to your progress bar and it says Dragon Provisions. Feeding dragons gains taming experience, which can be leveled up. Now over to the right is the potential provisions information. So what you do is after your dragon taming level reaches level 10, you may offer your dragon to the Lattice Academy assisting raising work. After offer, you will get 1 potential provision as a gift. Now one thing I want to cover here, that another aspect I don't really know for sure about, is if I reach level 10 on this dragon and then I decide to do that to get a potential provision, I don't know if I lose my dragon permanently or not. I'm thinking I do. I'm thinking that it's a trade-off. Like, it reminds me of Runes of Magic's pet merging system, where you would merge a pet to gain special points and raise stats, but you would lose permanently one of those pets. So this is similar to Runes of Magic to me in the fact that you raise, well, other games too, probably like Pokemon and other pet raising games as well, really. You raise your pet dragon and you just keep raising them, and that raises you raise their abilities, then that can raise their potential, and then you can like trade them in to get higher stat boosts, but you'll lose them. So you're constantly leveling dragons only to level them because they'll give you a higher boost when you like merge them. At least that's how Runes of Magic work, and that's how it's starting to sound for this. But I haven't tried this yet. I haven't reached level 10. I think what I'm going to do is test this when I get up to level 10 here. So I could go ahead and spend some ability points if I want, like Dragon Affinity. I'll go ahead and spend 1 there, and then you can see here. Now spending the ability points is what actually raises the taming level. So that's good to know that we've just instantly clarified that. I spent 1 on Dragon Affinity, and you can see down here what happened. It says I raised my taming level to 1 out of 25, and I gave him 1 out of 10 maximum for Affinity. Now, what else do I want to look at? Here's field training. We can always go back to these as well. Now, field training is where you can send 2 dragons. You sort of send them out into the world to train each other. Now, this is interesting, and I was talking to someone on my Google circle that we were talking about how it's kind of unfortunate. This training system is completely random in every aspect. What you do is you set 2 dragons, one in here and one in here, and your dragons can actually train each other with their skills. So it's a way. So if you capture a dragon and it doesn't have a certain skill, and another dragon that you don't really care about as much, but maybe you think it has an awesome skill that you would want on your better dragon, you could try to get that dragon to teach your preferred dragon that skill. Now you will have things like a limit of how many overall slots you have. Like right here I only seem to have 3 empty slots left. Now you can delete some of these skills, I believe. You can actually drag them to right here. Please remove unwanted dragon skills to drag here. So that's another way to customize a dragon for yourself. You can actually, over time and chance, you can get the skills you want. But you'll put 2 dragons in here, and there'll be a set amount of time. But everything's random. It's actually only a chance that one of the dragons will actually teach another dragon a skill. You might come back and not have, both dragons might not have learned a skill at all. Or the other thing is you cannot decide which dragon teaches the other dragon. And you cannot choose the skill you want. Everything is random. So it's random whether you'll actually learn a skill or not. It's random it's random which dragon will learn the skill, and it's random what that skill will be. Down here is your Lair Storage. This is basically all the stuff your dragon has earned. It's a nice storage place. You can substitute it, or it can be a substitute alt storage for yourself. So you might not always want to claim the products out of this until you're ready to use them. And that way it's more bank space. It's sort of like alt bank space, in my opinion. But you can see I've already earned a whole bunch of stuff. If I wanted to, I can claim these dragon provisions and then level up my dragon some more. I can choose how much I want to take out, or infinity, which is everything. Take all them out, and then if I wanted to, I could go over to my other dragon, go to training, and I leveled him up to level 2 as well. Now I have 1195, so I can go ahead and train him up, because I kind of like him, so maybe I want to train him up twice. And maybe I want to up his... I needed to look up what these stats meant. Strength obviously is strength, but an intelligence may refer to like a mage offensive, and constitution may refer to like defense. But I need to learn specifically what that stuff does. So if I wanted to, I can up his strength. I can look at his attacks. He actually gives me a healing spell that my character can use. It's right here. Increases profit and dragon's health by 90, and action points, 5 points of action points. A little lost in translation, mistranslated stuff there. It's a little... So where was I? So maybe I want to up constitution a little bit, or... Well, let me go ahead and up affinity. Let me do... Hey, Slain. Slain's in the chat room. How's it going? We're just kind of finishing up a long look at the lair manager, the Dragon Lair window. And then I want to get into crafting a little bit. So if you have any questions, feel free. I can repeat a lot. I always repeat myself anyways. I have no problem repeating myself. So let's go ahead and up strength by 1 and constitution by 1. I'll leave 1 left over. It doesn't seem like you have to hit a confirm button. Oh, you can save it. You can save it. So you hit a save button down here among these icons. So maybe I didn't save on my other dragon. No, I didn't. So let's up Dragon Affinity and save that. There we go. So we do have to save it and kind of confirm your choices. Now over here are 3 hot buttons, and it looks to be icons. Like here's one that I actually earned this. I got this as a drop by fighting. And what this is there's a saddle. It's like equipment for your dragon. There's only 3 slots. I don't even know what they all are. The middle one is a saddle. I imagine they basically just do what equipment does for your character, essentially. It adds bonus stats. So I do have this. Dragon equipment, I have a saddle, will give me physical defense 266, physical defense plus 20. So that's pretty cool. So I can click on that to choose it. I have nothing for what looks like the head, and this looks like maybe something for the tail or body. So I've yet to find anything there. We looked at finally the Lair journal is just a list of what you've done with your dragon lately. So you can see that I've sent my Jungo, I named him Jungo, I sent him out to collect a lot. And actually last night I sent him for like 5 hours. I didn't spend any station cash to increase the time that he could learn, but I did go ahead and put on the 5 hour, and I did that for both of them a couple times. So I think that's about everything for the Dragon Lair. Oh, this is another important one. This might be the most important, depending on who you are. You can rename all your dragons, which is awesome. You can do this in Runes of Magic's pet system too. But you can click on the edit at the top, and then you can rename it. This is my juvenile Thresher dragon. I can name him Swimmy, because he has good swimming ability. So I just renamed him Swimmy. I can double check his info. What does he have for a combat skill? He's got Crippling Pursuit, increases Pet's Pursuit. But if you look down here where it actually shows it, where is it at? Running speed, swimming speed, 180%. So he can swim, and I can ride him in the water. So I can actually boogaloo through the water at a pretty fast clip. So if you have any more questions later about that, we can always look at it. I may or may not have missed something, but that's a look at the Dragon Lair. And you access this from any Lair manager at pretty much every or any city. And it looks like I'm standing on top of it now. Let me get up so we can actually see the icon. There, it looks sort of like an egg, like a green egg, and I guess it's supposed to be an egg in a nest. And you just find those managers anywhere, and that's where you can drop off, trade, and do all your fun stuff. Now, craft